The search continues for survivors at the high-rise apartment blocks engulfed by fire yesterday. At least 83 people now are confirmed dead and almost 300 people are still missing after the blaze at the complex. Well, these are the pictures from this evening in Hong Kong, where emergency teams are still working to extinguish all of those fires at the complex more than 24 hours after it became engulfed in flames. Police have arrested 3 men from a construction firm on suspicion of manslaughter over flammable materials left at the site during maintenance work. Well, Ryan Chang is a Hong Kong-based freelance journalist and spoke to me a little earlier from outside a local community shelter.
I'm standing on a podium just a couple hundred meters away from the charred buildings of One Foot Court. And as you can see behind me, a human chain has been set up for supplies to be brought to where they're needed. Just a couple of minutes ago, there's been a message spread around that firefighters needed bottled water, and people, volunteers, have, out of genuine concern, have stood up and grabbed crates of bottled water and passed them to where they're needed. Displaced residents of One Foot Court have been placed in various community shelters dotted around the city. And also, there's been places set up where they can apply for an immediate cash relief.
In terms of the early investigations, I think we're going to put onto the screen just some of the video footage that we've received into the BBC. It just shows the beginnings of the fire and the bamboo scaffolding. Is that where all the focus is in terms of how this actually started?
Well, the government has yet to announce the actual cause of the fire itself. And as of right now, we don't have any official cause. However, the focus is actually on the green mesh, the protective mesh netting that is outside the bamboo scaffolding itself. And so the police have come out in a press conference and said that they suspect that much of the meshing was, in fact, allegedly did not meet fire retardant specifications. There's also some focus on styrofoam boards that were placed near windows, and police say that that might be another focus of their investigation.
It's interesting because as you're talking about the meshing, we've actually got pictures of exactly that. So it's very interesting that the focus not just on the bamboo, but the meshing. When the fire was at its height yesterday, I mean, terrible, terrible scenes. There was talk of hundreds of people unaccounted for. Are those still the numbers that they are talking about, hundreds still missing?
Well, the authorities have declined to give an update to the number of missing people still in the buildings. Fire officials had earlier come out and said that they do not plan to give an assessment yet on how many survivors they may find in the buildings right now. And they say that they're laser focused on just saving as many lives as they can. However, fire officials have also confirmed that the fires in the 3 remaining buildings have been brought largely under control. From where I'm standing and from where I can see, there are still firefighters pouring water on those buildings. And however, the thick plumes of smoke that were once, that had been in the air, even up to this evening, have largely disappeared. There are glimmers of torchlight in some floors of these buildings, and which are perhaps signs of rescuers going through floors to look for survivors.
Well, that was Ryan Chang, a freelance journalist, talking to me a little earlier, just reflecting what it's like now. This, of course, was the height of the fire, and those are horrifying pictures. And of course, that's what those 700 plus firefighters were having to deal with. But the numbers keep going up. Just in the last half an hour, it has been reassessed. 83 is now the current death toll, with still hundreds missing. So that number again is likely to go up. But all of the while, the firefighters still at the scene. I'll show you the live pictures now because they're still damping down those 7 or 8 tower blocks, and occasionally they again erupt with small pockets of flame. So that's the latest in terms of picture and detail from Hong Kong.